recognise that voice. And indeed, Marloise will be taking over the reins this coming Friday. Speaking of familiar voices, I'm joined on the line now by Professor of Cybersecurity at Ulster University at Magee, Kevin Curran, who's joined us for our regular technology slot. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anna.
Before we get into the issues at hand, there was the big AI conference that took place at Magee this week. Were you involved in it?
My colleagues were. It's a Gen AI EDU. So it's a conference really exploring...
Oh, that's half the alphabet. Tell me what that means.
Yeah, exploring generative AI again. So this has taken over the world really, where you're able to ask, really anything and it can generate, of course, answers really. So again, the big thing, the worry in education is that students will rely on using generative AI and the current plagiarism tools don't always detect it.
Oh.
Again, but of course it can be used for good as well. It can be used for education, for creating lesson plans and,
Oh, wait a minute. So teachers are allowed to use it, but students aren't?
They are indeed, but of course we will allow students because again, if they're going to go out into the real world, they will start using it again, but there has to be clear guidelines on when you can use it and when it's acceptable as well. So we have to be able to train our students again, not to use it all the time to generate essays, because in the past we could easily we could use plagiarism tools to be able to find out if someone was using the internet, to create their entire essay, really.
Oh.
Yeah. Of course there is, yeah.
Yeah. How accurate, though, is that AI and those computer-generated essays?
It can be quite good, actually. The problem, of course, again, comes down to references. It often makes up references, really, again. So you got to always check the references again. But, of course, ChatGPT is one of the leading generative AI tools, again. It's got everything on the internet up until 2000 and, 2 years ago, really, again. So it can create actually excellent essays again.
So how does it work then? Do you just dictate or type in, say you had an essay about, for example, World War I? We were speaking to some of the guys involved in a play a short while ago. Could that just generate an entire essay for you? Totally. I'm not advocating it, of course.
No, you just give it the title of what you want, tell me about, the rise of Hitler in the in the 1940s or whatever, and it will come back with an excellent piece of writing, really. And of course, even this week again, that there was these linguists, a study came out about these linguists, and they struggled to differentiate between AI produced and human authored text again. And you think that linguists would be, the main experts in this again, but again, just one of the main journals in this area, the Research Methods in Applied Linguistics, found that they were unable to actually distinguish more than 50%.
Goodness, that's 50%. So half they couldn't tell which was fake and which was generated by a human.
Exactly, and these are linguists.
Goodness me. So lots to talk about in terms of the tech world today. I noticed that Apple's shares, they slid downwards after China's government iPhone ban. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, because their stock market valuation is $2.8 trillion again, but it turns out that the Chinese government have banned some of the workers from using iPhones again. So, of course...
On what grounds?
On national security, really, again. So, again, and of course, China is Apple's third largest market, really, again. So, again, but there's also kind of a ban in to and fro where the US have actually banned chips being exported to China, and China have acted in the same manner as well. But, of course, that they're seeing it, maybe that... that it could be intrusive again because, Apple or a US company really, and maybe they worry about spyware being on the phones or whatever else. But of course, they're trying to support their own economy really, again, because Huawei are one of the main phone manufacturers in China, and they produce in the Middle East, of course. But again, so they're trying to probably put their workers back into Chinese phones really.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I wonder, is it timely that some government workers have been banned from using iPhones, or certainly it's been reported that comes ahead of the launch of the iPhone 15, expected to take place tomorrow, is that right?
No, actually today at 6 o'clock live, Apple will be releasing details of the iPhone 15, and usually they have other products as well. There'll probably be updates to the Apple Watch and iPad, whatever else. But
what could they possibly do to an iPhone that they haven't already thought of?
Yeah, no, I don't think there'd be much real, again, just a faster processor, probably more pixels on the screen, some services as well. But again, you can never underestimate them again, that they're notoriously secret about any product launch. But of course, people do leak snippets again. The main thing it seems to be is that the charging port will change from the standard lightning cable, which has been on it from the start,
Right.
to a USB-C. So again, that the European Commission, of course, have been trying to standardize chargers so that our laptops, our iPads, or our tablets, and our phones will all use the same cable, so that we don't have.
Oh, that would be useful because,
e-waste.
the amount of times that an iPhone or a charger has gone missing, and then someone says, "Oh, I have one, but it's not compatible with your phone."
Exactly. No, it does make it easier for the consumers.
Another story that you've picked out is this notion that Wi-Fi can read through walls. What does that mean?
It's astonishing, really. Literally that these researchers in Santa Barbara have been able to actually read letters just using Wi-Fi signals again. They have some method again which uses geometrical theory of diffraction, but literally they were able to read the word believe through a wall using Wi-Fi.
That just blows my mind. I don't know how that's possible.
It is really, and even though I've actually worked in this area, and I've a patent actually in and being able to detect human movement again by using
So no
Wi-Fi,
camera, just Wi-Fi. And what does it pick sensors, or how does it work?
Yeah, well, it uses these conic shapes which come off it again, but of course it's like signal processing at the end of it again. But I worked in this area years ago where we could use Wi-Fi to be able to distinguish someone moving, and also to be able to distinguish if there's two people moving again. Because again, Wi-Fi works like anything; it works usually on the 2.4 gigahertz scale or 5 gigahertz scale again. But the human body is made of 70% water. So when you have movement in a room again, that you basically have signal deterioration really. So you can up and down, and you're able to again use signal processing again to be able to determine on whether or not someone is actually moving, and you can even tell the height of an object again. But something like this is really
for security purposes or what?
You could indeed. You can use it for movement detection really within a house again without having the intrusive cameras as well. And there are apps out there.
What if you're someone who just has a lot of cats?
Well, again, yeah, but you can have a threshold again that maybe the cat doesn't set it off. But again, but it's
okay.
Yeah, you can have thresholds for movement as well. But again, they're not perfect again because it was never set out to be that type of it's really Wi-Fi of course is for sending data through the air wirelessly really again. But you can do a lot with actually technology.
Speaking of doing a lot with technology, one of the headlines you've picked out is the question: would a smart toilet leak your private info? I don't know where you're going to go with this, but you've got a minute to do it.
Yeah, there's a toilet again being a smart toilet which is able to detect maybe if there's blood in the urine or
for medical purposes then.
Exactly, yeah, because and you can distinguish again, and it's a proof of concept done by Stanford again. So again, but they were again, what if authorities are able to detect if you're using drugs, for instance, again, and what if the data leaks again? So who wants their sensitive toilet habits being leaked as well? And it's not the first time that there's been a worry about smart toilets again. That there was a Satis toilet again which cost £4,000. Again, but it was a Bluetooth leak because they use a standard pin 000. So hackers were able to activate the bidet function, flush it, play music, turn the lid up and down, if you do whatever else. But again, there was a case again of a toilet, being able to be hacked again and causing.
It's always an education when I speak to you. That is Professor of Cybersecurity at Ulster University's McGee campus, Kevin Curran. Still plenty to come after 1 o'clock.